Under the dim light of a flickering bulb in a rundown garage, Marcus Daniels wiped the sweat off his brow as he worked on a rusted old Chevy. His overalls, stained with years of grease and oil, told the story of a man who had spent his life fixing problems others couldn't handle. For Marcus, this was just another day, until the unmistakable sound of a sputtering engine broke the monotony. He slid out from under the car, wiping his hands on his already dirty overalls, and looked toward the entrance. There she was, Evelyn Carter. She didn't belong in this part of town. Her sharp heels clicked against the cracked concrete, and her sleek black coupe stood out like a diamond in the rough. "Is anyone here?" she called out, her voice carrying a mix of urgency and impatience. Marcus approached her calmly, masking his curiosity. "Looks like you're in the right place," he said with a neutral tone. Evelyn, clearly frustrated, gestured toward her car. "It broke down. Can you fix it, quickly?" Marcus nodded, already grabbing his tools. As he popped the hood and got to work, it became clear she had no idea how cars worked. Loose connections, a dry radiator. Nothing Marcus hadn't seen before. "It'll take a couple of hours," he informed her, suppressing a grin at her exasperated groan. "Fine, I'll wait," she muttered, pacing in her high heels as if she had somewhere far more important to be. By the time the sun was setting, Marcus had finished the job. "All done?" he said, stepping back. Evelyn approached, her relief evident. "How much?" she asked briskly, pulling out her wallet. When Marcus gave her a modest figure, she rummaged in her designer bag and handed him far more than he had asked. "That's too much," he started to protest, but she cut him off with a wave of her hand. "Consider it a tip," she said curtly, sliding into her car. The roar of her engine faded into the evening, leaving Marcus standing there, holding a wad of cash and wondering about the unusual woman who had just crossed his path. Little did he know, this encounter was only the beginning of a story that would change his life forever. That evening, as Marcus settled onto his worn-out couch with a cold beer and the game on TV, there was an unexpected knock at his door. He opened it to find a man in a crisp suit standing on his doorstep, holding an envelope. The man's demeanor was polished, a stark contrast to Marcus's modest surroundings. "Mr. Daniels?" the man asked. Marcus nodded cautiously. "I'm here on behalf of Miss Evelyn Carter." "Evelyn?" The name barely registered until the man added, "The woman whose car you fixed earlier today." Confused, Marcus stepped aside to let him in. The man scanned the small, cluttered living room, his gaze briefly lingering on the peeling wallpaper and second-hand furniture. Without sitting, he extended the envelope toward Marcus. "Miss Carter believes in showing gratitude. This is her way of thanking you." Marcus tore open the envelope, his rough hands brushing against the smooth paper inside. What he found left him speechless. A check for $50,000. His first instinct was disbelief. "This has to be a mistake," he muttered, staring at the enormous sum. "No mistake," the man replied, his tone calm. "Miss Carter has her reasons." "What reasons?" Marcus pressed, suspicion creeping into his voice. "I fixed her car, not her entire life." The man's faint smile hinted at an answer he wouldn't fully explain. "Let's just say she values acts of kindness from those who expect nothing in return." Marcus's mind raced. $50,000 could change everything. It could pay off his debts, fix up his struggling shop, maybe even give him a chance to dream again. But the amount felt too much, like it came with invisible strings. "What's the catch?" he asked warily. "No catch," the man assured him. "It's a gift, pure and simple." Still skeptical, Marcus slipped the check back into the envelope and said, "Well, if she needs more car repairs, she knows where to find me." The man left with a polite nod, leaving Marcus to wrestle with a mix of gratitude and unease. The next day, as Marcus tried to make sense of the previous night's events, a sleek black SUV pulled up outside his shop. Out stepped Evelyn Carter. Not the frazzled woman from yesterday, but a poised, confident version of herself. She was every bit the CEO she had hidden behind that frustrated exterior. "Miss Carter," Marcus greeted, wiping his hands on a rag. "Didn't expect to see you again so soon." "Call me Evelyn," she said with a faint smile. "I wanted to thank you in person." "Didn't your lawyer already take care of that?" he replied, trying to mask his nerves. Evelyn laughed softly, stepping closer. "I believe gratitude is best expressed face to face." Her tone carried sincerity that caught Marcus off guard. She glanced around the shop, her eyes softening as she took in the outdated tools and weathered walls. "This is your business?" she asked. "For better or worse," Marcus replied, half joking. "Mostly worse these days." Evelyn's expression grew thoughtful. "What if I told you I could change that? Not just for you, but for this entire neighborhood." "What are you talking about?" Marcus asked, frowning. She smiled, enigmatic. "I have a proposal, but it's not something we can discuss here. Are you free for dinner tonight?" "Dinner?" Marcus hesitated, unsure whether to feel flattered or suspicious. "I don't usually mix business with food." "Then consider it a favor," Evelyn said, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Pick me up at 8. I'll text you the address." Before Marcus could respond, Evelyn was gone again, leaving him staring after her, wondering what he'd just agreed to. Little did he know, the proposal she was about to make would be far bigger than he ever imagined. That evening, Marcus found himself at an upscale restaurant, feeling out of place as Evelyn, polished and confident, greeted him. She wasted no time, diving into her backstory. "I grew up in a neighborhood like this, with a father who was a mechanic. He taught me to work hard and help others," she shared, her voice softening. Evelyn then outlined her bold plan. Renovate Marcus's shop, upgrade the tools, and create training programs for local youth. It wasn't just a business idea, it was a vision to uplift the entire community. "I see potential in you," she said, "and I want to invest in that." Skeptical but moved, Marcus agreed. Construction began the next day, turning his small garage into a state-of-the-art facility. However, local competitors weren't happy, accusing Marcus of selling out. When one rival confronted them, Evelyn's calm but firm reply silenced him. "We're not better, but we're building something bigger." Despite the tensions, Marcus began to believe in Evelyn's vision and his role in creating something that could truly change lives. Together, they were ready to prove the skeptics wrong. As Marcus's shop flourished, not everyone celebrated his success. Derek, a rival mechanic, let his resentment grow into open hostility. What began as rumors soon escalated to vandalism. Graffiti on the shop walls, slashed tires, and threatening behavior. One night, Derek and his crew shattered the shop's front window, sending a clear message. They weren't backing down furious. Marcus confronted Derek, but the tension boiled over. "You think you're better than us now?" Derek sneered. Marcus held his ground, refusing to be intimidated, but the conflict left him shaken. Evelyn, however, was unwavering. "This isn't just about the shop," she said firmly. "It's about the community, and we're not letting anyone tear that down." She insisted on hiring security and installing cameras, determined to protect what they were building. As the battle with Derek continued, Marcus began to see Evelyn in a new light, not just as a business partner, but as someone deeply committed to him and their shared vision for the community. Her support gave him the strength to push forward, knowing they were in this fight together. Late one night, as Marcus locked up the shop, Derek emerged from the shadows, anger blazing in his eyes. "This ends now," Derek growled, wielding a crowbar. The confrontation turned physical, chaos unfolding as they grappled in the dim light. Just as things spiraled out of control, the sound of sirens pierced the night, and the police arrived in time to break it up. Derek was arrested, but Marcus was left bruised and shaken. At the station, Evelyn showed up, her concern evident. "This has gone too far," she said, her voice soft yet determined. She reassured Marcus, reminding him of the vision they were building together. "You're not just fixing cars, Marcus. You're changing lives." Her words struck a chord. For the first time, Marcus saw himself as part of something much bigger, a movement to uplift the community. Inspired by the shop's transformation and the opportunities it offered to local youth, the neighborhood began to rally around them. This wasn't just a business anymore. It was a symbol of hope. And for Marcus, it was a chance to believe in something greater than himself. With Evelyn by his side, he felt ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The day of the grand reopening finally arrived, and Marcus's shop, once a rundown garage, now stood as a gleaming beacon of hope for the community. A crowd gathered outside, buzzing with excitement. When Marcus cut the ribbon, the cheers and applause were deafening. For the first time, he felt a profound sense of pride, not just for himself, but for what the shop now represented. The shop's transformation was more than cosmetic. It provided jobs, training programs for local youth, and a renewed sense of purpose for the neighborhood. Marcus watched as young apprentices eagerly learned their trade, their faces glowing with excitement. This wasn't just his dream anymore. It was theirs, too. Through it all, Evelyn remained by Marcus's side. Their partnership evolved into something deeper, built on mutual respect, shared goals, and an undeniable connection. She had believed in him when few others did, and together, they had created something extraordinary. As for Derek and his allies, they faded into the background, their attempts to undermine Marcus rendered meaningless by the community's growing support. The shop had become a cornerstone of the neighborhood, a place where people came not just for repairs, but for hope. In the end, Marcus and Evelyn's journey wasn't just about rebuilding a garage. It was about transforming lives, proving that with vision and determination, even the smallest acts of kindness can spark extraordinary change. As Marcus stood outside his thriving shop, watching the kids in their training program laugh and learn, he couldn't help but reflect on how far he had come. What started as a simple act of kindness, fixing a stranger's car, had transformed not just his shop, but his entire life. Evelyn's vision had turned his rundown garage into a beacon of resilience and hope for the community. Beside him, Evelyn stood quietly, her gaze fixed on the young apprentices. When their eyes met, they exchanged a knowing smile, a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had shared. It wasn't just about the shop or the success they had built. It was about the lives they had touched and the legacy they were creating together. In that moment, Marcus realized the true meaning of success. It wasn't about wealth or status. It was about lifting others, inspiring change, and leaving the world better than you found it. Their story serves as a reminder. Even the smallest acts of kindness can spark extraordinary transformation. And sometimes, what begins as an unexpected encounter can grow into something truly life-changing. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Your support inspires us to create even more captivating and heartfelt stories. And let us know in the comments which part of the story you loved the most. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you.